Hello, it's me again. Woo! I'm back with another video. You guys all liked my story time, and in that story time, I was looking at the time, and it was like 50 minutes, but I had to cut out a lot from that video, and it was still a long video. So I cut out some of the parts in that story time with the crazy ex-boyfriend. So. I said that I might do a part 2. And a lot of you guys wanted me to do a part 2. So here I am doing a part 2. Anyways, today, I'm not even gonna lie. Ain't no keto today. See, what had happened was, yesterday, today's Saturday, the 12th. Yesterday, Friday, I ate, normal. But at night, I wanted some micheladas. Well, I missed my micheladas, but I wasn't planning on drinking micheladas yesterday. But Cesar, when we stopped at 7-Eleven, he saw these micheladas that I've been looking for forever. Like, I would even drive far to look for them because they were like, oh, they're at this store, in this town. So I would go looking for them. Never found them. And then yesterday, when Cesar went in 7-Eleven, he calls me and he goes, hey, those micheladas are here. And I'm like, so he FaceTimed me. He's like, are these the ones you've been looking for? And I'm like, yeah. So of course I had to get me a michelada. I had 2. I had a mango. It's a mango chile michelada. And why do these always smell like fart when you just open them? Like, I've always thought they smell like fart. Farts smell good. But anyways, so I'm like, you know what? F it. I'm gonna have micheladas. And I had micheladas. I had 2. And that was that. Today I've still been doing keto and stuff, even though I know I'm not in ketosis anymore because I had my micheladas. So I'm like, well, might as well enjoy a meal. You know what I mean? Like, and people have asked me if I do cheat days, and I actually do. I try to do like maybe 2 a day. 2 cheat meals. I try to do cheat meals, not cheat days. 2 cheat meals a month where I eat whatever the hell I want. Like, if I want tamales, I'm gonna eat tamales. If I want tacos or torta, I'm gonna eat it. Some people are all about the keto lifestyle and they're doing it every day. And if you can do it, good for you. But I can't. I just can't. Now my Coke Zero. Everybody's going crazy in the freaking living room right now. Like, my kids are jumping, going crazy. Cesar's mad. Welcome to my life. Because that's what I deal with every day. Oh, yeah. Did I already say I have a Coke Zero? I don't remember. Okay, let's jump right in. I don't want to make this too long. So, today, let me tell you what happened. I was sitting there minding my business all innocently, not thinking that I was going to have, like, good food today. And then my dad, Cesar was like, let's go get some KFC. He told my dad. So there, my dad's like, oh, KFC sounds good. So they went to go get KFC. And I'm like, KFC? So I'm like, oh, man. They bring KFC. I'll do a mukbang with KFC. Because, I'm like doing like keto mukbangs. But I also want to have like a good, food. I mean, keto's good. But I wanted this. I wanted all the bads. So I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to do a KFC mukbang. So I went to 7-Eleven. No, me and my son were going to go to 7-Eleven. And, my dad served himself. Cesar served himself. And I went to 7-Eleven. And then we came back. And there was one chicken wing in the bucket. And me and Sebastian, because me and Sebastian left, we hadn't eaten yet. So I'm like, where's that chicken? Like I told Cesar. Just kidding. I didn't know. I'm like, where's the chicken? He's like, well, Emily ate it all. And I'm like, I will not believe that this little girl ate all the chicken. Anyways, the point is, they didn't leave me no chicken. So there I go again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to 7-Eleven. And I'm going to get me the taquitos because I seen them when I was there. And I'm like, oh, man, I used to love these taquitos with hot Cheetos. Oh, my God. So I'm like, I'm just going to get me that, Sebastian was eating mashed potatoes. Sebastian's like, I didn't want chicken anyways. I wanted mashed potatoes. So he's eating mashed potatoes. And I'm like, should I eat mashed potatoes? I'm like, no. If I'm going to cheat, it's got to be something good that I want. And this is what Mama Chu wanted. This is what I wanted. Anyways, so I got 3 steak and cheese. Okay, first of all, I'm not gonna eat all this, okay? You're probably looking at me like, why'd you get 5? I got, there's a deal, all right? 5 for $4. So I was like, plus Cesar likes these too. And I'm sure that Cesar will be eating them later. But I just gotta, you know, make it like a party. Let me do a little thumbnail. All right, let's get into it. So I'm gonna start off with the steak and cheese. Steak and cheese is my favorite. Oh my god, why did I get so excited just now? Oh my god, did I get the wrong one? No. Look at this. Keto ain't got nothing on you. I'm sorry I abandoned you. I know you miss me too. Okay. So, when I said there was more to the story, there really was more to the story. Like, where do I even begin? When Chris was up here, you know, I had told you guys that I would go, you know, hang out with him and Ashley. So one day, early morning, I went over, you know, I would go over in the morning. So, Juju's here. And we were hanging out in the room, just me and him, because she was in another room with her boyfriend, like the guy she came to see. I don't remember exactly when this was. Like, I don't know the order of it. So when we're hanging out, somebody knocks on the door. And I hear, Chris. And I'm like, I looked at him and I'm like, that doesn't sound like Ashley. I'm like, who the hell is that? He's like, oh, it's Ashley's, it's one of Ashley's friends. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, why is she calling you though? And she was banging on the door so hard. And I'm like, why don't you open the door? And he goes, because she's fucking crazy. I'm like, that's what he said. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, she's crazy. She's the one that's crazy. So I'm like, I'm just gonna open the door. He goes, no, don't open it, because she's, you know, she's crazy and all this crap. So then she started banging on the door and I got mad and I went and I opened the door and I was like, what? Like, damn, what? And she's like, I'm looking for Chris. And I was like, well, he doesn't want to talk to you. Like, what the hell do you want? And she goes, Chris. And oh my God, she was so freaking annoying. Oh, look, a little Y for my name. And then he comes out, he goes, what the fuck do you want? Like, he tells her. And then she's like, why are you ignoring me? Like, started going off. This girl was like 2 pounds. She was this thin. She was super thin. Just, you know, she was very tiny, very petite, tiny. She was also black. And she had a baby in her arms. And when I'm like, what the hell? Like, after he kicked her, like, he's like, just go, man. Just go. So she left. And I'm like, what the hell is she? Like, what the hell? Like, what the hell's going on, man? He's like, oh, some girl. That's Ashley's friend. She likes me. Okay. What ifs? So she left. Back to her room. She was staying in the hotel too. He said she was Ashley's friend. Come to find out later, it's just some girl that was staying there that he hooked up with. Like, he saw her, he sweet talked her. I don't know if it was when I left his ass and, you know, in the big old ass truck. How did I find out? I don't remember. But he had hooked up with her. And that's why she was all mad. But I didn't find out till later. I think Ashley might have told me, like, when she saw how crazy he was acting, and I was like, when I'm like, I didn't sign up for this, and she was like, I still talked to Ashley on the phone a few times. And I think she's the one that told me. Yes, she did, because I'm like, who was that girl that was in the hotel? And she told me, oh, it's some girl that he hooked up with, but, you know, I don't think we were together anymore. But anyways. Oh, and in one of those days, when I went over, like, in the morning, you know, I would go, we would hang out. We would watch TV. We would talk or whatever. Not whatever, but we'd just talk. Like, we would watch movies, or, you know, we would just be talking and stuff. He went to the bathroom, right? What would you do if he goes to the bathroom? Maybe you're dating a guy and he goes to the bathroom and you're finding out that there's all these girls and he's flirting with all these girls. What would you do? I hate to be that one, but I was that one, because I'm like, I need to know if he's treating me like a fool. Oh, because his phone went off. It vibrated. And first of all, I'm like, why is it on vibrate? You know, he went to the bathroom. He left his phone there. And then when I looked at it like this, it was a girl, and it said, hey, babe, or something. Some girl he was also talking to. And I was like, what the hell? And the name sounded familiar. Not like somebody I knew, but somebody I seen on his Facebook page that I asked him about him a few, like, weeks before. And I'm like, who the hell is this girl? And he's like, just a friend. So I was nosy. I went into his pictures. He had pictures of her giving him a blowjob. Dun, 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 dun. You know, like the novelas. I'm not even lying. And when I saw that, I was like, took it off immediately, like, you know. And I felt like, you know, this guy is a liar. Eating chips out of the bag when they're in my plate. But like I said, I was so dumb. I know somebody said, did you not see the flags, the warnings? Like I had mentioned in that video, I wasn't, you know, I was so innocent. I never like really dated. I might have flirted, you know, through the phone or whatever. But I was just dumb. Like, I was just dumb. Dumb. So anyways, I didn't tell him that I saw the pictures. I just pretended like I didn't see nothing. So then, okay, I didn't describe to you what he looks like. I forgot to do that. He was like 5'8", a little tiny bit taller than me. I'm 5'7.5". I'm almost 5'8". So he was like a little tiny bit taller than me. I just punched myself. And he was fit. He worked out. He had a six-pack because he was always showing off his six-pack. Tattoos. This guy was light-skinned. He looked like a light-skinned Hispanic. Like, his features, because, you know, native people have, like, you know, special features, you know. I don't know how to describe it. Like, people have told me I look native, and they're like, you look native, you know, your facial features are... He did not look native at all. But then again, we all look different, you know, so. But to me, I would have never, when I saw him, I thought he was like either a really light-skinned Hispanic guy or a white guy, like half white, half Mexican. You know what I mean? He had his hair really short, kind of bald. He had like kind of a wider nose, like from right here. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like the prettiest shaped lips. Like, oh my gosh, perfect teeth. Ass looked like a nectarine. I'm just kidding. You could tell he had a butt, you know, because when he would wear his clothes, you could tell, like, that he had a butt. So, he had a nice body. I don't usually go for those type of guys because they don't go for me. I'm just kidding. I don't like those type of guys. I like them thin. Like Cesar's got muscles though, because his job where he works, you know, it's very heavy and he's always like lifting stuff. And he's gotten muscles just from working there on his back when he goes like this. I'm like, oop. But anyways, What else can I point out? He didn't have... No, he had a little tiny bit of mustache, but his hair was light. His head was black. Like, his hair was like a light black, like a brownish black. But his facial hair was lighter, like brown. He had a little tiny bit of goatee, like right here, like barba, como se dice, like bigote. Just a little tiny bit, like this. And I love it when guys have, you know, barba. How do you say it in English? Goatee? It wasn't a goatee. Beard. I don't even know if that counts as a beard. He had like 3 little hairs, but anyway. Okay, back. Talking too much about Chris. So then he had a daughter. I forgot to mention that. He had a daughter with another girl, and he was not allowed to see her. And I'm like, why won't they let you see? This is like when we were talking about, why won't they let you see your daughter? And he's like, because her mom is fucking crazy. People that say that are usually the crazy ones. Wait, I've been saying he's crazy. I am crazy. So that time that we went to the arcade place, you know, they had like a mini golf course. Okay, remember when I said he was flirting with the older lady? That was like towards the end. But in the beginning, oh my god, we had to go and buy like the balls or the sticks. I don't know what the hell for that mini golf game. And the girl that was working at the register there was like, I want to say like 17, 16. Like barely able to work. Also really cute. And then he was flirting with her big time, and she was flirting with him too. So I was already like, see, it had already started when I was like, I'm done. Like, it had already started that day, like earlier. And I was like, oh my gosh. So when we wanted to play another round, he's like, I'm gonna go tell that cute girl at the register, you know, that want to play another game, just so I can go see her. And I'm like, go, I don't care. And he did. He went. Anyway, so oh, I spilled some. We were walking. I'm the kind of person that I never keep my mouth shut. I don't care if I'm scared, especially mad. I don't care. I never keep my mouth shut, and I can argue and argue and argue and argue and just keep arguing. I would not shut up. And I had a boyfriend that told me, you just never stop talking to you. Like, you always have to be the one with the last word. And I'm like, yep. So I would like argue with him, you know, even though he was crazy. I didn't care. I pissed him off for some reason. I think since he was checking out that girl and flirting with her, I'm like, well, I'm gonna do the same, you know. And I think I even told Ashley, ooh, Ashley, that guy is fine. Here's the cream cheese and jalapeno. And she's like, what guy? I showed him some guy I was just trying to make him mad. And she go, oh girl, yeah, he's fine, you know. She agreed. And then she kind of looked at him like, don't get mad, you know. What is he gonna do? Because she knew him so well. And they known each other since they were little. That's what he said. So then she walked away, you know, we were walking. And then he gave me the look, like, and she kept walking, and we were by ourselves behind her. She was like a ways, and she's like, I'm gonna go find, you know, something like a good spot, or I don't know what the heck she was doing when she left. And we went through this little, it's like almost like a little tunnel. There's like walls on both sides, and you kind of have to walk through it. Oh, he waited until nobody could see us, grabbed me by the shirt, and he pinned me against the wall and said, you think that guy is fine? Like, you know, I was, ¿cómo se dice? Echándole fuego a la leña al fuego. Putting more wood in the fire by saying that. And I remember that he was like talking to me so angry, like, you know, when you want to yell but you gotta be quiet, when you're like, you know, like that. And he was talking to me like that, and I remember going, just like, get away, you know. And I remember telling him, I want to kick you in your fucking balls. I whisper it. I feel so weird saying bad words on camera, guys. I really do, because I'm not used to it. I say a whole lot of bad words in the comfort of my own home and privacy, but in front of camera I feel so weird. And balls isn't even a bad word. Anyways, and then we heard Ashley coming back, and she goes, hey, I found a spot. He like let go of me because he knew that she would get on his ass. So we just kept walking, and I'm over here like, I think I was even laughing, kind of smiling, like thinking, you know, what the hell, this is like so weird, you know. I know I'm weird like that, but I was like, kind of like that girl that gets her hair pulled when she blows her sister's candle. She got her ass beat and she's still going. That was me. I'm a G. I'm not gonna lie, a part of me found it exciting. It was something new. And back then I was so depressed and so lonely there. I had nothing going on in my life. Nothing. So that was, to me, was something different, you know. I'm gonna admit it. It was something different. Now I would beat the shit out of any guy that ever treated my daughter like that. I'd be in jail. So that happened. And, you know, we were playing, and this was so funny. We were playing, and then I hear, rain in the water, rain in the water, baby. And I'm like, what the hell? Ashley, she's on a boat. It's like they had boats for decorations there, and she's like doing, you know, I don't know what you call these. And she's just singing rain in the water. And I'm like, oh my God. I laughed so hard. This girl was so funny. She always was making me laugh. Always. Just her talking, I would be laughing because she was just so funny. So funny. And even he started laughing. He said, Ashley, you're so fucking dumb. And she's like, but you love me. Man, that girl cracked me up so much. But yeah. So those are like some of the things that happened. I know there was more when we were there. He kept getting angry at me and kept like pinning me when nobody was looking. And like he would get right on my face and talk like, you know, like angry. But then he would like try to kiss me. It was so weird. So weird. Like I'm like, so are you mad? Or are you horny? You know what I mean? Like, make up your mind. You know, I can laugh about it like, whoo, it's so funny now, you know. And there, I mean, there were some parts where I laughed myself, but, you know, then that's when we went inside and the whole breaking of the chain and, you know, that happened. But it was so weird that that morning that girl came knocking, I went in and then I looked in the bed. I looked at the bed. And there was an orange Nerf gun, like, you know, for kids. And I remember looking at it and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, why do you have a freaking toy gun in here? And he goes, oh man. He's like, I was gonna paint it black. He even had black spray. He bought black spray to paint it black. And he goes, I was gonna scare the shit out of you when you came in. I was gonna pretend it was a real gun. Seriously? And I'm like, are you freaking serious? He goes, yeah. He goes, but you got here earlier than I thought. And I'm like, now I'm wondering, was he gonna rob someone, or was he gonna freaking point it at somebody and rape them like a girl? Like, what the hell was he thinking? And yeah, I was gonna scare you with this. I'm like, how the hell were you gonna scare me with this? And he goes, as soon as you came in, I was gonna have like the door open and I was gonna hide behind the door. This is what he told me. I was gonna hide behind the door, and when you came in, I was gonna go like this and grab you and put the gun, you know, onto your neck. If he would have done that, I don't know if I would have believed him. Like, I don't know if I would have like shit my pants, you know. And I'm like, Mom, you're freaking crazy, man. Why would you do that? He goes, just because I wanted to see how you would act. Psycho. So somebody told me if I've ever looked him up on social media. I did a long time ago, because he came up in my suggested groups. This is so weird. Nobody in my family knows him. Nobody that I have friends is friends with him. And you know, usually suggestions are people that, you know, like I'm friends with this person and then friends with this person, and then there's a chain that connects to that person, right? So I'm like, why is he in my suggested friends? Like how do you know Facebook that we know each other? And I said Facebook in my last video, but it was actually MySpace. Like, that's how long time ago it was on MySpace, not Facebook. So anyways, so then when I got that comment on here, I decided to look him up because I was curious. I was like, oh yeah, you know, I wonder what happened to him. So then I went to his page and I found him. Same profile pic as years ago. Last post was in 2012. You know, and I went and I'm like, there's nothing new. I know he had another daughter with another girl. That's one thing, he wanted to have another daughter. He's like, I want to have another baby. He's like, I want you to be my baby mama. I was like, what the hell? And he ended up getting some other girl pregnant, and he did have another daughter. And I don't know how it went with that, but he has a picture of her in his profile. And I saw her, so. But yeah. That's what happened with him. But you know, it was just freaking crazy. But you know, there's always a guy crazy as hell. He can be crazy as hell. But then they have this other side that like not a lot of people know. They only see the crazy side. And I've seen some of his good sides, which still doesn't excuse him, or which is still not a good enough reason for me to have stayed with him. But you know, we were always on the phone, you know, and when he was tired, that's when he seemed normal to me. Like, he was tired, and I still remember perfectly like talking to him when he would get off work and I would get off work. You know, we would get off work at the same time, him over there in his town, me over here. And I remember that he would call me, and then we would both be so tired. We would be so tired, and we would be talking on the phone, and he sounded normal, and he even sounded different. His voice was different, mellow. And we would talk, and he was like nice, like calm, like so how was your day today? Me good. How was yours? Good. You know, there was this one, and he would tell me what would happen, but he sounded so normal. And I remember thinking, if he acted like this the whole time, if he was like this and not crazy, you know, I would still be with him. Like, I could be with him, but he wasn't. What are you doing right now? And I'm like, laying down. And he's like, yeah, me too. He goes, I'm so tired. And I'm like, you know, I can let you go so you can get some rest. And he'd be like, no, you know, just stay on the phone with me. You know, like, let's just talk. He's like, send me a picture of you. So then I would send him a picture of me. And then he would send me a picture of him, you know, laid down, just like. And we fell asleep on the phone that night. And I remember that night so well, because that night I ended up staying at the hotel where I work. Because when it was too icy or it was snowing, my manager's like, you can't go home, because my house was kind of far. She's like, you're staying in one of the rooms. So I remember that I stayed there, or I would stay the night at the hotel. Like, if I worked like in the morning to night, I mean in the night, all night. How do I explain it? Because I would work shifts back to back. So if I had a back-to-back shift, like, let's say I got off in the morning, she allowed me to sleep in one of the rooms. And, you know, I would bring my stuff, and then I would wake up, and it was almost time for me to go back to do another shift. You know what I mean? That's when I would stay there. And I remember perfectly, because that when we were talking, it was one of those nights where I stayed in the hotel. If that makes sense. So then, like, you know, we both passed out on the phone, and then I remember that we fell asleep, and I can hear him like asleep, and I thought it was like so sweet and like so cute, like, oh, you know, he wants me on the phone with him. And yeah, we both fell asleep, and I remember waking up, and then I'm like, Chris, because I can hear him breathing, and he's like, huh. And then I just hear like the phone moving. He goes, hello, and I'm like, hello. He goes, the hell? And I'm like, what? And he's like, did I fall asleep? And I'm like, yeah, you know. So then that was it, you know. All right, well, I'll let you go now, blah blah blah. So, you know, they always have like, you know, those little sides where, you know, they can be dumb as hell, and then they'll go and be sweet, and you're like, oh, but he's so nice. You know, he had his little moments where he was very nice, very sweet. Like for Valentine's Day. Oh, that's why he came up here for Valentine's Day. I just remembered, because when I got there, he came out with this big ass teddy bear and chocolates, and that was the first time any guy has ever given me anything. So I was like, oh my gosh. And you know, like, he had his sweet moments, he had his normal moments, and then when he would be all crazy, that's when I'm like, are you on drugs? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you so different? But anyways, ladies, if you're ever in a situation like that, don't stay. You know, even if they have their sweet moments. I know it's so hard, because I also had another boyfriend who was not a good guy for me, but man, I was so in love with this guy, like so in love with him. Oh my gosh, that's another story time that I have for you guys, because this is another guy, probably one of the most important guys I ever dated, like that meant a lot to me, like from the guys I dated in the past. He was probably the one that was like more like important to me, like back then, obviously. So yeah, so that's another story time I have for you guys from him. So, but yeah, so I'm just saying, I know it's hard, like if you're in a bad relationship and somebody is like, you know, good thing this guy didn't beat me up. I mean, he did slap my leg, but thank God he never like beat me up or anything. But you know, and sometimes I know that girls will be like, why are you with him? Like, you know, he's such a piece of shit. We know they're a piece of shit, but when you really love someone, or when you really like someone, or you have strong feelings, it's really hard. It's kind of like being addicted to a bad drug, and you know it's bad for you, but when you're on it, it feels good. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? So yeah, so sometimes it's really hard, I know, but you just gotta move on, find somebody better, because you always will. There'll always be somebody better, you know. I smell cologne. But yeah. Ooh. From being able to only eat half to freaking eating 2. And that's why I really gotta watch what I eat, guys, because I can easily go whoop back up. But yeah. I really hope you guys enjoyed this part 2. Probably wasn't as interesting as the first one, but you guys wanted to hear part 2. And I just felt like, you know, man, I still left some stuff out, you know, that I wanted to talk about, but I couldn't because my time was running up. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'll do another one next week. Well, it's Saturday, hopefully, like in the week. So yeah, if you like it, don't forget to give me a like, leave your comments down below, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.